Mourning in Moscow, 1 week after 4 young students were stripped of the best years of their lives, the search for a killer, the search for justice, continues unabated. While we don't know anything about the killer or killers, we know much more about the victims. 4 college students in the prime of their lives. 4 families forever changed. The ripple of their lives lost, echoing across the communities in which they grew and thrived. Our community shaken by the known, rattled by the unknown, the growing questions we still have. As the sun sets on the 8th day without Ethan, Hayley, Madison, and Xana, we remember who they were. We grieve for who they never got to be. The home on King Road, sitting vacant tonight, a reminder to the neighborhood of the tragedy that occurred there, the lives lost. Tonight, Moscow in mourning as investigators work to find the King Road killer.
Good evening. I'm Claire Graham. Thank you for being with us tonight for this special edition of Nonstop Local. Our newscast tonight will focus exclusively on the murders of these 4 University of Idaho students. Please note the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen. It'll be there throughout our newscast. If you point your cell phone camera at it and then follow the link, it'll take you to our coverage of the murders on nonstoplocal.com with links for you to help the families and instructions for how to send Moscow police a tip. So far, police say they've gotten more than 640 of them. And officers say they are vital in solving the murders of Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonsalves. We do have team coverage for you tonight. John Webb and Guy Tannenbaum are in Moscow. Ava Wainhouse and Tana Kelley are also tracking new details for us. First, Moscow police did hold a press conference today, and we want to make sure we share this important information right off the top with you. Moscow police have now cleared both of the surviving roommates who were in the home when the killings happened. Officers say the 911 call came from one of the roommates' phones, but they won't say who actually made the call. When pressed on that, Police Chief James Fry said there were other friends who had come over by the time someone made the 911 call, but the killer was long gone. Finally, police say they have now searched 3 dumpsters near the scene of the crime, but they haven't found any evidence in them. Let's go live now to Nonstop Local's John Webb. John, these young students were stabbed to death in their beds last Sunday. Today, the police chief said they still don't know who the killer is, but he maintains this was a targeted attack.
Yeah, that's right. Good evening, Claire. The department continues to believe that this was not random, but any reason as to why is being withheld at this point, despite over 640 tips and 90 interviews. Information at today's press conference was extremely limited, and it certainly wasn't for a lack of questions from reporters.
So, thank you.
Is this related to the Adam mutilation?
This person will strike again.
Day 8 in this small community.
This tragic murder has shaken the community.
And shaken the police department.
So we're going to open it up at this time to about 8 to 10 questions. We ask that only 1 question is asked per person, please.
Moscow Police Chief James Fry holding a second press conference Sunday, practically repeating what was already released in a press release the day before. The vacuum of information leaving a lot of questions unanswered.
We're not able to say at this point in time. It's part of our investigation still, and when we get ready to release that, we will. Honestly, I'm not quite sure at this time, to be quite honest. I cannot comment on that. I'm not even aware. I'm not going to go ahead and disclose that information. I cannot disclose any of that information. I don't even know that information at this point in time, and that's why we're continuing to investigate.
But continuing to hold hope. ISP tells us that a suspect will be found.
Nothing we can do will bring back these young lives. But we have an absolute commitment to working together to solve these senseless murders.
And the public can help with that commitment. Here's a map of where the 4 students were at just hours before their death. Anyone with any type of information is asked to contact the Moscow Police Department with the contact info on your screen. According to authorities, there's been a lot of help from the public, but Colonel Wills says one thing is not helping.
And the best thing that most of people can do to help is to stop with any kind of rumors and just seek official information that comes out of the Moscow Police Department.
And hopefully more information will be released. Another press conference has been scheduled for Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Of course, I'll be there covering it live. For now, reporting live in Moscow, John Webb, Nonstop Local.
John, thank you. While there are still a lot of questions, we have been closely following this investigation, which may help answer some of yours. Tonight, we'll take you through that first 911 call to where things stand today.
Sunday, noon. Moscow police called to 1122 King Road. The report at the time, an unconscious person. Once they arrived at the home just a few blocks from the University of Idaho campus, officers discovered the grim reality. By Sunday at 4 p.m., an alert had been sent out to all Vandal students. Quote, Moscow police investigating a homicide on King Road. Suspect is not known. Shelter in place.
Moscow police have confirmed they found 4 people dead in this.
By 9 p.m. Sunday night, we knew 4 students were dead, but we didn't know who they were, how they died, or whether there was any search underway for a killer. Monday morning, just before 10:30, police identified the 4 students killed. 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, 20-year-old Xana Kernodle, and 21-year-old Hayley Guenthner. All 4 were students at the University of Idaho.
Still no word on the cause of death for the students here.
Police still had no information about their causes of death or any suspect information. They would only say this was a targeted attack and there was no threat to the public. Tuesday, police released a little more information, saying the students were killed with what appeared to be a knife, but they hadn't found a weapon. Tuesday afternoon, a video surfaced showing Madison and Kaylee's last few hours alive, ordering a sandwich from a food truck in Moscow, happy, playful, smiling, with no idea of what was to come. Tuesday night, police made it clear they needed to address the lack of information and scheduled a news conference. As the sun rose Wednesday morning, new questions arose too, questions that were hopefully going to be answered. At 3:30 Wednesday afternoon, Moscow's police chief approached the mic and said this.
We do not have a suspect at this time, and that individual is still out there.
No one in custody, no suspects pinpointed, no new information, and no justice on the horizon. Investigators renewed their request for tips. And now, 7 days after the murders of these 4 students, with students officially home for the holidays, investigators still hard at work, searching for a killer, hoping for a break, as the mourning in Moscow enters its 2nd week.
And of course today, during that second news conference, police added once again, no killer found or known, and no murder weapon. Today, some members of Xana Kernodle's family went door to door with pamphlets, asking anyone with information to come forward. Nonstop Local's Guy Tannenbaum was with them. Guy?
Claire, a main conversation, no matter where you are here in Moscow, is just about the lack of information about how this happened. That's why some members of Xana's family started their own effort to try and help find anyone that might be able to help get them some answers.
This Facebook post from Xana Kernodle's cousin Sheldon last Thursday has been shared over 2,000 times, asking for volunteers to canvass U of I's campus and surrounding neighborhoods, knock on doors and post flyers, urging anyone with information that might help investigators figure out how this could happen to come forward. Sunday, they did just that. Door by door, light post by light post, almost everywhere you look in Moscow, the distinctive yellow flyer and the pictures of 4 lives taken far too soon are hard to miss.
I think it's great that they are looking for help because the community is their most valuable resource.
Krista Stebbins says she did some remodel work inside the home a few years back, and the news of the killings inside it has been unsettling.
If they had someone that they were kind of looking at and investigating, or if they had them arrested, I would feel much better. Because I don't feel safe in my own home, and I don't even live close by.
Despite her overwhelming emotions, Stebbins, like so many others here, credits the people of Moscow for rallying around each other.
All of the businesses who had Vandal Strong, everyone's changed their profile pictures to Vandal Strong. It's just such a great community we have here, and it's so upsetting that something like this could happen.
Back out here live, no matter where you go in Moscow, you'll see these flyers. Whether you're here in downtown Moscow, you can see it on this lamppost behind me, or whether you're on the campus of U of I. The family is just hoping that someone has a tip that could lead to an arrest. Live in downtown Moscow, Guy Tannenbaum, Nonstop Local.
Guy, thank you. University of Idaho President Scott Green also spoke at today's news conference. Tana Kelley anchored our coverage of it. Tana, President Green had some new information specifically about restarting classes after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, good evening, Claire. As one can imagine, many students decided to leave early for Thanksgiving break last week after the killing. President Green said he understands and that the school system will be here for them. He said the university will work with students on alternative learning options after Thanksgiving break. COVID made distance learning easier, and he's told instructors to plan on giving that as an option. Green said they already started ramping up security across campus. They will continue their safe walk. Residence halls will be locked 24/7, and counseling will be available over the Thanksgiving break.
Each residential community has a dedicated resident assistant staff and a live-in full-time resident director to help ensure a safe environment. We have increased security patrols on campus since we were notified of this off-campus incident. We've also benefited from increased Idaho State Police presence on our campus, which we are grateful for.
And students should look out for communication early this week regarding remote learning and what options you should take. Now, classes resume for UI students next Monday, the 28th, and the vigil for the 4 students who were killed will be that Wednesday, the 30th at 5 p.m. on the administration's lawn. In studio, Tana Kelley. Back to you, Claire.
All right, Tana, thank you. There is still much more to come here tonight on this special edition of Nonstop Local Mourning in Moscow.
We're just trying to process it. It's not a call that you think that you're going to have to speak with the funeral home directors and the FBI and have it hit national news.
We'll hear from the parents of Ethan Chapin as they describe the despair of having to change their Thanksgiving plans. But next.
This person's dangerous, and we fear that this person will do this again.
The family of Hayley Guenthner speaking out and at times addressing the killer directly. Their powerful message next. And as we head to a commercial break, another look at the Moscow Police Department's special tip line, their phone number and email address. Please, if you have any information, get in touch with them as soon as possible.
No, this person snuck somehow into the house, whether it was a door, an unlocked door, or an unlocked window, but he was not invited, and he came in with a weapon.
To do intentional harm.
With intention, intention to kill.
Intention to kill, exactly. Not even harm, to kill.
Yeah, and not just one, not two, not three,
but 4.
One after another, after another, after another.
That's Christy Gonsalves, the mother of Hayley Gonsalves. Her heartbreak and her family's heartbreak laid bare as police search for the King Road killer. Another reminder of the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen that will lead you to our coverage of these murders on nonstoplocal.com. Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana have made international headlines for the horrific way they were killed. But their loved ones don't want people to forget the incredible ways they lived. Nonstop Local's Hayley Guenthner gives us a look inside now at the bond between Maddie and Kaylee that began when the girls were in elementary school and lasted until their final day.
Kaylee was a spitfire. She absolutely was, you know, the tan blonde with a beautiful smile that lit up the room. But you hear that every time. She was so much more than that.
She was determined, bright, an incredibly hard worker, had a job all lined up after graduation set for next month. And Kaylee's sister says her biggest cheerleader could always be found in forever best friend, Maddie.
Just good through and through. And she was stable and she was reliable.
And a member of the Gonsalves family. Same for Kaylee with Maddie's.
Maddie was there when my babies were born in the room. They were both bridesmaids in my wedding. When people would ask, like, I guess I'm the oldest of 5 technically, but when people ask, I'm the oldest of 6. There's no separating them.
And that would remain the case until their final moments.
I am happy that they had each other, that they...
Yeah, that gives you some comfort.
Grew up together, first kisses together, first boyfriends together, graduated high school together, started college together. They lived together, they got a house together. And unfortunately how their story went is they died together.
A death, a murder that Kaylee's mother fears may have been personal.
I just feel it in my heart that they knew the person. And I've always felt that way. I don't know why I don't know why, but I've always said they knew him. They knew him.
And until there's a name, a face, the fear that that person could be anywhere is like a dark cloud lingering over those left behind.
The services for these girls will be huge, you know, public. And to think that this person is sitting, you know, there at the church, just, I can't. Their candlelight vigils, you know, all of that. It makes me sick that this person could be there, standing right behind us, waving a little candle. You know, it's sickening, absolutely sickening.
And it's serving as motivation for this family to push and keep pushing for justice. That even includes a plea to the killer.
Turn yourself in. Stop all this. Let us mourn our children, and we can't when we know this person is out there.
To whomever did it, if they're watching, we will find it. We will find whatever we need to find you.
Hayley Guenthner, Nonstop Local.
Hayley, thank you. Kaylee's mom also told us today they haven't finalized funeral plans yet. They're hoping to have a joint funeral for Kaylee and Madison. As we head to a commercial break now, a reminder, there are GoFundMe campaigns set up for the families of the 4 students. You're seeing them here, but we have them linked on our website, again, nonstoplocal.com, and that QR code on your screen will take you there as well. We're back with a message from Ethan Chapin's parents after this. As Moscow is in mourning, the families of these 4 students are speaking out about the unthinkable losses. Ethan Chapin's parents are remembering their son. Nonstop Local's Ava Wainhouse has their story. Ava?
Claire, good evening. We all know this is unimaginable pain these parents are going through. Some families are speaking out, and that does include Ethan Chapin's parents. And they tell me that he was the comedian of the family. He was a triplet. He's going to be missed so very much.
If everybody was like Ethan Chapin in this world, it would be a better place.
For sure.
Ethan Chapin's parents, Stacy and Jim, are heartbroken, sitting side by side, sharing loving words of their son who died too soon. The killer hasn't been found. Rumors have flown throughout the region, the nation, for days. Why did this happen to these 4 University of Idaho students?
The things that are being said are 100% not true. There's not drugs involved. There's not some weird love triangle.
The truth is that these kids, these young adults, left this world without having the chance to live as long and as fully as they should have.
We have these other 2 kids that are very impacted by this, and they need to be lifted up and cared for.
A triplet, Ethan's parents say he was fun-loving and up for anything.
We just watched a thing from the university, spike ball champion, volleyball champion. I mean, he just literally would play and do anything.
Just a few weeks ago, Stacy and Jim left their children in Moscow after Parents' Weekend at U of I, feeling proud of their kids they love so much.
We've done it. We've literally done it as parents. We've created 3 incredible humans that will go on.
It's a heartbreaking story here tonight, coming out of Moscow for a week now, hoping that answers are going to come soon for who killed Ethan and the other 3 victims. Of course, as we receive updates, we're going to bring that to you. And his parents organizing a funeral for Ethan. That's going to be held in Mount Vernon tomorrow around 4 p.m. Those details are going to be on our website. For now, reporting in Spokane, Ava Wainhouse, Nonstop Local.
Eva, thank you. We'll be back in just a moment. After the commercial break, we'll have a special event tomorrow to tell you about to raise money for the families of those murdered students. As our community comes together to remember these 4 students in Moscow, we want to let you know about a special event happening tomorrow. The Texas Roadhouse in Coeur d'Alene is donating part of their proceeds from 3 to 9 tomorrow to the students' families. They say Xana Kernodle worked there and was part of their team before she moved to Moscow for school. There will also be a way to donate tomorrow if you don't want to eat anything. We'll be back right after this. Thank you for joining us tonight on this special edition of Nonstop Local. One more time, this is the tip line and email address for Moscow Police. If you have any information, even if you don't think it's important, please reach out to them. The Mark Few Show is next, and we'll see you back here tonight at 11.